or to listen to me. And your time is very valuable to me. And that's why I want to conduct a short 5-minute session for everyone to discuss as to why they are here. Someone's mic is...
Hello, Bushra. Hello.
Yes.
Bushra, kindly, Qureshi Bushra, kindly mute yourself. Yeah, okay.
Great. I was actually muted for a bit. And everyone's time is really valuable to me. And I want to keep this session as interactive as possible because women empowerment is something that I cannot just speak of. It is a discussion. Changing a mindset is not a one-person thing. It's a step that everybody takes together to make a difference. And that's what this whole topic is about. So before I present anything or share my screen with anything, I want to request everyone to please speak up during the webinar and be as interactive as possible so we can make this whole session as productive as possible. Can I have everyone tell me why they are here? What brings you here? Why is this topic so special to you? If you can just unmute, okay, you can't unmute yourself. If you can put it in the chat box as to what brings you here and why this topic is so dear to you. Let's keep 2-3 minutes for everyone to discuss in the chat box. Can everyone type it down, please? What brings you here? Why is women empowerment so important? Why do you believe in it so much? And where do you think the problem lies? I'm waiting for everyone to type it down in the chat box. Yes, a lot of points make a lot of difference. Thank you, Shrishti. Thank you so much for that. It really means a lot to me. Maria, yes, you want to learn. Oh, thank you so much. Sashmita, yes, girl children have been stopped by Indian families a lot for what they want. Absolutely. We're going to discuss that in a very great extent over here. Thank you, Shrishti. Everybody else, what brings you here? Why is women empowerment so important for us? As men and as women both. I'm happy that all of you are being very contributive to this process. Everybody else, please type. We are 59 people. I want to see 59 messages here. No, then. For everybody else. All right, are we all done? Does anybody else want to type something more? I request everyone to be as contributed to this process as possible because I'm going to ask everybody to please type their opinions down personally sometimes. So I request everyone to just be open because I want to keep this very interactive. All right. Now that we're done discussing why women empowerment is so, oh, someone type one more thing. This is really interesting topic to me because, just a moment, because I always wanted to be an entrepreneur and being a woman surrounded by judgmental society, this is the must needed session for me too. Truthfully, I'm shocked that you're just 18. Thank you so much. It's just the strong mindset to break taboo being in vogue in patriarchal society, that there are few occasions wherein women cannot trade upon and accomplish things. That's very true. The Indian society is something we're going to deeply discuss about. It's going to be a wonderful discussion. Thank you so much, everyone, for putting your opinions down there. I would like to share my screen and show a couple of statistics, and we're going to discuss them once I stop presenting. So everybody, please pay attention to those statistics as much as you can. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, great. So we're going to talk about changing mindsets to make a difference. I would just like everyone to analyze this statistic for a couple of minutes. What does this table show to you? What does this table mean to you? Is everyone done looking at this table? Once you're done reading this table, just put a yes in the chat box. Great. Now let's move on to the next statistic. This is the most interesting one. Can we all have a look at this? If you guys are done looking at this table as well, just put done in the chat box so I have an idea that you're actually paying attention to this one. Great. So let's discuss. What does this mean to you? Why is it the way? Oh, stop sharing. I'm going to stop presenting my screen. If you guys noticed, a lot of women have not been able to reach to the top of the corporate sector for a very long time. In fact, I've always been saying this, that I am very privileged to not have faced any kind of discrimination based on my gender. I have never been questioned based on my gender. I have never been made to question my abilities and my competences based on my gender. And the fact that I call myself privileged for that makes me question our basic human rights. Not being questioned based on my gender, being questioned based on my competence is a different thing. Not being questioned just because I'm a girl, not being believed in just because I'm a girl is not a privilege. It's a basic human right that we should have. And the fact that I call myself so privileged for that makes me realize that there are so many people out there who are yet underprivileged, who do not even know that they can achieve something beyond what they have at the moment. Why do you think this is the way it is? It is very disturbing as senior management, as Shrishti said, senior management is the core part of the company. And most, if you believe this, only 6.6% of CEOs of Fortune 500 companies are led by women. Why is this the case? After this, I'm going to share something even more disturbing to all of y'all. But before that, I want to have a nice conversation about why is it like this? Why are women not able to reach the corporate sector to the top of the management position? Because 49% of entry-level positions are by women, but only 6.6% reach to the very top. Why is there such a big difference? Why is it so hard for women to climb and climb the ladder? Please type in the chat box. I'm going to give you all 2 minutes to think about it, brainstorm. Society, 100%. More responses. What do you guys think? Why is it the way it is? I want everyone to be super active in this 1 hour of webinar. If I make a difference to win 1% over here, 1% over here, I'm going to be very happy. I'm very satisfied through this whole 1 hour. Everyone. Arzu, Asma, Adiba, Ariba, Dimple, Dhanashri, everyone. Women don't believe in themselves. That is a very important point. Preconception about their abilities. Okay, we're getting there. Come on, everybody else. Dimple, Fatima, Aisha, everyone, please put in your thoughts in this because of the narrow-mindedness. Okay. Let's bring some more energy to this webinar. Come on, it's about women empowerment. If we don't contribute to each other's points, we're never going to get there. One of the most important points in this webinar is women supporting women. Someone typed something very big. Less of an active drive to go towards entrepreneurship for girls. Boys have already internalized it for a few years, but girls are yet to do so since they've only started entering the workplace quite recently compared to men. Very factual and rational the point. Everybody else? Arzu, Asma, I haven't heard from any of you. Ariba, Nupur, Naz, everyone. Put in what you think about those statistics. Since girls are running to the house and I feel they're the born entrepreneur. Again, running the house, having a family versus deciding a corporate culture is one of the most important points I'm going to talk about. Women think that they can do nothing, but really they are playing main role in society. I think one of the most common points over here is that women think that they cannot do anything, but they're very capable of doing a lot of things. That's one of the most common points that I've seen over here. And that is where we come to our first point, underestimation. Well, I've looked at a lot of TED Talks by a lot of women entrepreneurs. And one of the most common point that I saw through all TED Talks was that, and through this webinar, is that we underestimate ourselves. And more importantly, we underestimate our achievements. They fear crossing limitations that are put by their families and societies. Absolutely. Great point, Arzu. Talking more about that, we underestimate our achievements a lot. Let me explain this point to you all by a very short story. It was in 9th grade that this situation happened, and it has been stuck in my head ever since. I was walking out of an examination hall, and I saw that everyone was obviously discussing papers, a very high school thing to do. We were discussing the paper, how it went for each other, and I see these girls come up to me like, "Oh, Kushi, it was horrible." I was like, "What happened?" They're like, "Hi, I missed out on that one question on the 4th page. It was for 2 marks. Now I'm going to get 98. And I had a couple of more questions that I'm so doubtful of." And I was like, "Okay, it's okay. It's just a couple of marks. It's okay." Like, no, I'm not going to score well. And then I see these couple of boys jumping around. And I go to them, I was like, "Oh, how was your paper?" And they're like, "Oh, bro, I killed it. I'm going to be the best person who scores the highest in this whole class." I'm like, "Oh, that's a lot of confidence that you have. I thought the paper was a little tougher than that." It's like, no. I know myself. I'm going to be the best topper in the class. I was like, "Okay, that's wonderful." And a few days later, when the results came out, he was not at the top. And the girl who was actually crying about it was still at the top and still crying about it, that I still lost a couple of marks. And this is a very common scenario that a lot of us see during our school days or college days. And why is this scenario so important? Why am I saying this to you? This scenario stuck to me because of the difference in self-confidence, the difference in self-worth, and the difference in the underestimation of our achievements. What are we so pressurized by? Why can't we celebrate our own achievements? And the fact that we expect so much from ourselves obviously shows that we don't underestimate our potential. We underestimate our achievements. Why is the same thing that is achieved by a boy so valuable, so celebrated compared to what we achieve just because I'm a girl? And it's not about the way the society perceives you. It's about the way you perceive yourself. Have you ever given some time thinking about, "Oh, today I did this and I'm going to give myself a break. Today I did this and I deserve a gift to myself. Today I did this and I value so much more than what I'm getting at the moment. I deserve so much more. I deserve so much more happiness." Why do we punish ourselves, our achievements, our celebrations so much? Why do we keep ourselves so submissive every single time? And this brings me to a point that society, as everybody mentioned, makes us expect to expect things from ourselves. Once we're made to expect things from ourselves, end up achieving something for others and not for ourselves. Today, if I have girlfriends who score very good grade in their exams, their first reaction is going to be, my parents are going to be so happy about this. Why didn't you do this for yourself? Why do you need a certain degree of approval from somebody else to feel your self-worth? And I don't blame women for this. I blame our mind. I blame the society that has developed this mindset in us. Why do we have to seek an approval from a third person to feel our self-worth? Are we not enough for ourselves? Where is our self-confidence here? You need to realize to put yourself first above other people's expectations of you, other people's needs of you. And no, this is not selfish. A lot of women who are called, oh, you are so selfish. You will never be able to handle a family if you think of yourself before others. You're such a selfish woman. But this is the way to get ahead. And I'm not asking you to drop others down to get ahead. It is about believing in yourself and making yourself happy with who you are. And keep your self-confidence in your inner beauty, in your inner competences than your physical attributes, because that's what defines you and not your physical beauty. I want to keep another exercise through this. I want everyone to share certain instances in their lives. I want everyone to each other in this webinar, please. I will share certain instances where I underestimated myself as well. And I want everyone to type in the chat box one moment, tiny moment. It could be while studying, it could be while making something, it could be while playing with your friends, it could be while you're having dinner with someone. A moment of realization where you felt like you could do so much more. You deserve so much more than what you're getting at the moment. 2 minutes of your time in your entire life, there has to be a moment where you faced this, where you felt this, but you couldn't do anything about it because you didn't realize that you're actually underestimating your achievements. One moment where you felt like something that you did was supposed to be celebrated way more than it should be. I think I rephrased that. One instance in your life where you think your achievement should have been celebrated even more compared to what it was. Everyone, please type in the chat box. There are 70 people here, and I want all 70 people to reply something. I'm also thinking about one instance where I underestimated myself. Yes? Does someone want to speak? Okay, my question to you is to think about one moment in your life where you felt like you underestimated yourself and your achievements, more importantly. For example, you achieved something which was very big for you personally, but it was less celebrated for others compared to what it should have been. And you realize at that moment that, oh my God, I deserve so much more. I deserve way more happiness. I deserve way more celebration for what I've done. And what I've achieved is way more worth than I thought it would be. Wow, Sashmita, I'm glad you've never faced a moment like that. And it's sad that it's something that everybody should have. Everybody should have faced this in their life. I meant nobody should have faced this in their life. Everybody should have that feeling in them that I've never faced this. And you're lucky, Sashmita. It's so amazing. I'm glad you feel this way. Shrishti celebrated her failures even with her achievements. That's very inspiring. 10th result day. I could have learned Carnatic music and Bharatanatyam spending more period of my childhood. Everybody else. Or okay, if you haven't, okay, Sashmita, if you haven't, and Shrishti, both of y'all, I'm very, very happy that y'all haven't felt like this in your life before. Let's share a story where you felt that somebody else should have been celebrated way more than they should have been. It could be people working in your house, it would be working in your parents' office, your friends, anybody. You think that that woman deserves so much more than what she has. Never really faced one of those moments. I'm not. Okay. Is everybody else typing? All right. My mom deserves a crown. She's the jewel of kindness and patience. 100%. My mom as well. I always think my family deserves so much more. I think a point where it's hitting for not for themselves, but for their family members. I'm lucky to have parents like my mom and dad. You deserve such parents, Rashmita. I'm so happy for you. Everybody else. I think this. I was watching a TED talk by the COO of Facebook. She's a woman, and she said that in her TED talk, she started off by saying, "I call myself lucky that I have been able to have way more opportunities than any of my maternal relatives or paternal relatives who are female family members, and we are lucky to get this kind of equality, to be in a position where we get so many opportunities as you can, and we're lucky to have more human rights than our female ancestors did. And the fact that we call ourselves lucky for it shows how long a way we have ahead of us. Women teachers are expected to be on humanities, socials, or work with little children instead of teaching math, physics. Okay. Some recommendations regarding TED Talks. Of course, I will. Feeling the same for you. Thank you. Absolutely. Now that we're done discussing about this, let's move on to another point. The conclusion from this point is one way of getting ahead or just being valued in the corporate environment or in any other work environment, to be very honest, is not underestimating your achievements and not underestimating your potential. You deserve this. You have the potential to go ahead and you'll reach that point. And once you reach that point, give yourself a tiny treat because you've worked to get there. You do not have to suffer or work your way hard up there to not be celebrated. It has to be those few moments of happiness. It doesn't have to be that you're partying so hard. It's just a few moments of happiness and celebration, showing that you have done and you've gotten what you deserve. Arzu opened up to us, saying my incident was very joyful, but it would not have been like that because it was my 10th grade result. And before that, I thought I would get a percentage in some 80s. And then my mom made a statement that get at least 1% more than your cousin sister. Oh my God, I'm already hurt right now. At the end, I got 92% more than my sister. I just wanted to say that if I would have gotten less than my sister, then there would have been some sad feeling for my mom, feeling self-worth. I think thank you so much, Arzu, first of all, to opening up to all of us. And this is what I expect from everybody else as well. Thank you so much for contributing to the seminar. That's exactly my point. When you are celebrating your achievements, it is because you are celebrating your self-worth, because you've done this for yourself, you've worked this hard for yourself, and not to get a third person's approval. No matter how close they are, work for yourself. Believe in yourself because at the end of the day, you are who's going to stick with yourself at the end of the day. It's not anybody else. People change, times change, opinions change. and society is changing. We have a long way to go, but society is changing. And what you do, you deserve credit for what you have done and not by anybody else. Stop seeking approvals and believe in your and have more self-worth. That's the conclusion. We should not compare seeking approval with feedback. Absolutely. Approval and feedback. What is the difference between two words? I think for me, approval is a statement used to get an opinion to feel happy about something, happy or sad about something. Feedback is to learn from something. Your happiness, your celebration, your self-worth shouldn't be defined by someone's approval, but you can always learn from someone's feedback. What is the difference between approval and feedback? That's a very good point you've brought up, Shrishti. Do you guys approve with my definition of approval versus feedback? Okay, looking for validations versus getting a comment on your actions. Do you guys agree with me, disagree with me? I think approval is when your happiness depends on that person's opinion. And feedback is something when you genuinely want to learn from something and you're already satisfied with what you have. And you want to grow better. All right, we're running out of time. We'll have to move on. This is only the first point. I have 3 more points to cover. Okay, coming to our next point. Before we move on, I would again like to present my screen and share. I was watching this TED talk by the same woman who's the COO of Facebook. Her name is Cheryl. And I always have a habit of reading comments for every post, every video I see. And something struck me when I looked at those comments, and I screenshotted them, and I want to share them with all of you. This was the conversation that took her TED talk. And I read through all of it, and I screenshotted the most striking part for me. I want all of y'all to read. Can you guys read this properly? Is the text too small? Is this good enough? Is this text nice? Say yes if you guys can read this. Okay, perfect. Everyone, read through this text. We'll be discussing this conversation. Is this better? Great. I will also read it out for some of y'all. Do you want me to read it out, or do you guys want to read on your own? If you want me to read it out, I'll do it. Okay, I'll read it for you. So some gigabyte gamer says, because nobody supports these women, including women. 1.2 thousand likes. Lean 2200. Why do they need support? I got to my position on my own because I fought for it. Women need to be independent and fight to get to the top. Respect is earned, not given. I would never give my job to a female over a guy just because she's a girl. And yet, if the guy outperforms a female woman, they start complaining that I'm sexist. If women lose at anything, they think they were being treated unfairly. I can't how many times me or my friends got rejected from jobs or plain. No, that's life. Okay. Lean 2200 by Kim Tae. So you mean to say that society, traditions going on generations don't affect women? Can't you just step out of your mindset? Was it very hard for you to understand whatever was said in the video? Kim Tae. Yes, because women want to be independent but want their independence handed to them. If they be where men are, they need to do what men are willing to do to get where they want to be. And guess what the risk is? Death and injury. Over 98% of work-related death and injuries are men. Men die in war to protect the country. 80% of suicides are committed by men. First of all, that's not a statistic to be glorified. More men are murdered than women. More men are in prison. More men die from heart attacks. Again, more men are in prison and die are not points to be glorified. This is what risks men take to be a hunter. Women expect to be given what men have worked for generations. I'm sorry, but if a woman can't step in the boxing ring and go toe to toe, it's pretty obvious, both psychologically and physiologically. Women are not meant to be the hunters, but the nurturers. It's common sense, and that's the way the world is designed. Got a problem? Then talk to the creator of humans and earth. That's true. You definitely need to wake up. How true? In order to get political power, social and spiritual, you have to get an equal element at the bargaining table. Humans at the top of the food chain are shrewd and do not surrender power just because you say please. Privileged women like Sheryl Sandberg do not understand this. Because they suck. Anyone who's seen female bosses know this. If a guy sucks as a boss, he sucks. Period. But if a woman sucks as a boss, she sucks because she's a woman. Sexist at its best. Vero Leacock. Working with women, you are partially correct. Many women in power do not want to mentor because they see other women as competitors. Sexism, as you and your feminist college class call it, reality, as the rest of us call it. Oh my God. That was a harsh conversation to read. What do you guys think about this conversation? Do you guys agree or disagree with Lean 2200? The man who kept saying that women and men are physiologically different and everybody has their own place in society and women should not try too much to get ahead if they cannot fight for it. What are your opinions on this? Agree or disagree? One word. Everyone disagrees with him. Okay. And this brings me to my second point, which again has two subpoints. Okay, everyone disagrees. That's great. One point is women supporting women, and the second point is equity versus equality. I can't decide, like there is too much of feminism and even women are always kept lower than men. Okay, it's quite confusing. This is a very good discussion to have. What is the difference between equity and equality? I was discussing this with yesterday when I read this whole conversation. And it was, if you look at it very rationally, a little confusing. I disagree to it. But my roommate was, again, we were a little confused as to what is he trying to say. Is his point valid, but he's put it out in a wrong way? Or is he completely wrong? And we were just thinking about it. And I realized that we do not understand the difference between these two terminologies. I am not saying that women need to be on the top. I am saying there have to be equal opportunities for women to be at the top. And if you are a boy who thinks, or a girl who thinks, this already exists. I never tell my sister just because you're a girl, you can't be a CEO. You are privileged. You are one of the top percentages of people in your country who are financially well off, who are well off in terms of education, who have a very privileged family and an educated family. And is Indian, and I know it for a fact. 90% of Indian women do not have equality in opportunities. A lot of young girls don't even know something like this exists. And that's the saddest part about our Indian society. Equity is when you do and you get something that you deserve. We are not saying that if a girl who scores 30% on a test and a guy who scores 80% on a test, a girl should be taken just because she's a woman. That is not equality. Equity. This is not equality either. Equity is when you get what you deserve, and equality is equality in terms of opportunities, and that's what we are striving for. That's what feminism is striving for, and that's what we all should strive as an Indian society ahead. Our girls do not have the same opportunities as boys. And I'll be very fair with you. Every person I have been mentored by is a man, and every person who's asked me for mentorship advice is also a boy. And it's not because I put a label on my LinkedIn saying, hello, I am not open to women. I am 100% open to women. They've just not approached me for it. And why is that so? And I have not been able to find any women CEOs to be mentored by at the moment either. Why is this so? It's not like I have a preconceived notion that I don't like women, I'm not going to be mentored by them. It's just that I cannot find them. Because our percentage is so low. And if you look at it, it's because we do not have equality in getting ahead. Equity comes later on in the process. Equity is 100% fair. If someone deserves it, she gets ahead. If someone doesn't deserve it, she chooses an alternative path. But what about getting to that point? Do you think our society has enough opportunities? All the women out there. It's not about having a competition between who's physically strong. Oh, men need to be police physically strong than women. Good for you. Stop opening for a woman officer. You cannot generalize a whole gender based on a majority. Women think about the women as competitors. Women mentors are hard to find. Equality is typically defined as treating everyone the same and giving everyone access to the same opportunities, whereas equity refers to proportional representations. Absolutely. And this was my whole point. I wanted everyone to reflect on this one particular point as to, do you think our society has equal opportunities? And it's not, feminism is not a competition between men and women. It's not a competition who's stronger than who and who's smarter than whom. It's all about not keeping the thought of gender in that one particular topic. If a girl wants to be a police officer and she's physically capable of doing so, go ahead. Why does that have to be a factor that differentiates her getting into that position? That was one of the points that I wanted to put ahead. And talking about women entrepreneurship, in the corporate environment, one reason why women don't get ahead is because the traits that femininity is associated with is very different from the traits that are hyped in a corporate position. And how does this point that I'm saying right now relate to the previous conversation? I'm saying this is because this is one reason why there is no equality in terms of opportunities. The fact that society has kept gender norms of how and what you should be as a woman is very different from what the corporate culture values in an executive position. Okay. To explain my point, let me ask everyone, list down certain traits that society expects women to have. As he said, women are meant to be nurturers and men are meant to be hunters. What are the traits of nurturers that women should have in society? I want everyone to list down one word that you think the society associates women to be with. Oh, women should be caring, women should be affectionate, etc., etc. Stereotypes of how you should be as a woman. Come on, everyone type down words quickly. Sensitive, soft built, shy, highly responsible and alert at all the time. Come on, this is an easy question. Simple, tolerant. Tolerant, very interesting word. Very interesting. Adaptive, early morning lover. सबके लिए चाय बनाओ. Dependent, very interesting. Dependent. That brings me to my next point. Everyone, go ahead. I'm liking this. Responsible. Spiritual, sensitive, positive, dependent. Oh my lord. Very interesting. Thank you, Sheikh. Everyone else. Okay. Now I want everyone to list down qualities that a good CEO should have. The qualities a good leader should have. Decision making, positive, confidence, smart, good listener, responsible. Hemangini, yes. Biased, confident. Yes, how could you speak? Non-biased, confident. Hemangini, do you want to speak? Farsightedness, respects others' opinions and thoughts. Should have self-confidence, positive attitude, good speaker, polite, responsible. Okay. Did you guys notice a very distinct difference between what society expects women to be versus what society expects a good leader to be? Cold-blooded, proactive. Look at these, cold-blooded versus being sensitive, self-confident versus being shy. Being decisive versus being dependent. This is my whole point of doing this exercise was to making you guys realize that there is such a distinct difference between what society expects women to be, what we expect it to be, versus what good leaders are expected to be. And the fact is that it doesn't have to be a correlation between your gender and being a good leader. Thank you, Shrishti. My point is not that women and leaders, Sashmita, in that particular point, I think my point is not that women and leaders need to have the same qualities or men and leaders need to have the same qualities. My point is a leader is a leader, regardless of what gender he or she belongs to. And society needs to stop. And who is society? We are society. We need to stop associating femininity with women. The word itself goes towards females. I understand that. That's the whole point of this webinar, that we need to neutralize characteristics. Thank you, Sashmita. We need to neutralize these traits. And that brings me to my next point. Who is society? We are society. Who are we blaming? Who are we trash talking? Who are we blaming right now? It's us. It's our mindset. We make society. And that brings me to a point which is competence and likability dilemma. I have only a few minutes left. Oh, I have so much to talk. Competence and likability dilemma. Let me tell you about this one case study where in a university, one class was split into two parts, and both of them were given the exact case study about a woman called Heidi in a leadership position. It was a case study for a business school. And one class was given the case study of Heidi, and the same case study was given to the rest of the class. But the name of Heidi was changed to Howard, which is a boy's name. And they were asked to analyze the case study. The best part about this case study was that all the students thought that Heidi and Howard are both equally mentally. But there was this one sad point where when they were asked who would you be employed under, majority of them said Howard. Same people, same traits, same characteristics, But people disliked Heidi because they thought she was too out there politically. She was too bold to be where she is at the moment. And Howard is someone who's going to be a more attractive employer. Why? Have you guys ever? I have faced this 100%. I openly admit it. I have been called intimidating so many times in my life, so many times with so many boys. And I'm going to share a story with you. I have such less time. I'm going to share a story with y'all as well for this. But I want you to comment whether you've ever faced this in your life, where just because you are smarter, just because you are highly competent, you are liked less. It is a terminology where it says competence x likability dilemma. How do you make someone speak? Yes, Qureshi Bushra, do you want to speak? If you guys can just type it in the chat box, or I can ask someone to unmute. I'm not quite sure. Everyone, yes or no? Have you ever faced this competence x likability dilemma? That less smart, being more smart, being more confident, being more powerful makes you less likable as a woman. Yes, yes, no. Okay. Likability. Because you're more powerful, more powerful, more competent and smarter, you become less likable to other people. As a woman, I have faced this. I'll be honest. Okay. Some say yes, some say no. Need more responses to know. Okay. No. Yes. No. Okay. No. Okay. I'm glad to see a lot of women haven't faced it. And that's I'm happy about it. I'm 100% happy about it. But I have faced this, and it's my personal story 100%, where girls who are people who study more or who spend their time working on themselves more have been less have been, tend to have less other girlfriends and less guy friends as well, because we spend more time on ourselves, and that makes us less likable for some extent, which I've never been able to understand why this happens, but this happens. And one way to deal with this is women supporting women. I don't know why I have read this in so many TED talks where women are women's worst enemies. It's a little harsh. It's a little harsh. It strikes me in the head, and I wonder, why is this the case? Is it because women judge other women more, or basically stronger than them? Okay, my time is up actually, and I still have a little bit left. I would like to conclude this whole discussion right now and say that the whole conclusion of is to start thinking about yourself. And it's not selfish. Thinking about yourself is not selfish. Making yourself feel valuable, being comfortable in your own skin, celebrating your own achievements for yourself, giving yourself credit for what you have done is way more important than seeking approval from society, basing your happiness on your society, doing things for other people's happiness, doing things from other people's satisfaction. It is always a good thing to do so, but always make sure that you put yourself first and work on yourself, because at the end of the day, you are the one who's going to help you grow. You're the one who's going to stick with yourself in your harder times. And having a lot of self-worth and self-confidence is going to make you believe in yourself and make you believe that you can do so much more than what you are doing at the moment. And you do not need anyone's approval for that. Before I did this, in fact, 2 months after I started this company, my family members were not aware of this until I registered it. That's because I like working on my own and I don't need anybody else's approval, whether it is a summer school project or I don't need any other people's comments, whether it's a summer school project or a corporate environment, is it going to be successful or not? I don't want anybody to question me. And even if they do, it's not going to affect me because I know what I am, I know my potential, and I know what I deserve. And that's what I want everyone to believe in. It's been an hour. It's been an hour since I've been speaking, and I would like to end this webinar because of time constraints. If you guys can take 1 minute out of your time and just tell me, how did you feel after this webinar? To me, it would make me feel like my time was valuable here, and I took care of your time as well. Please type in the chat box what did you think about this webinar and give me some feedback. What are your key takeaways? How do you feel? Did this help? Type in the chat box. Thank you, Ramsha. It means a lot to me. What is your feedback? What are your takeaways? So we can share our thoughts before we end. If you guys want to get in touch with Say No to Sexism, I felt very nice because I can feel you're very powerful. If you guys want to get in touch with me, I'm willing to share my email ID with you guys. You can reach out to me here. That's my email ID, khushimehta@learnero.co. And on LinkedIn also, my name is Khushi Mehta. You guys can follow me on LinkedIn or Instagram, and we can get in touch and we can have a good conversation. Thank you so much. Great. If this was inspiring for you, I'm really happy that I was here. Thank you. Great. If you guys would like to get in touch with me, you can always email me on khushimehta@learnero.co. I will reply to you, or you can follow me on LinkedIn or Instagram. I don't think Instagram is a good platform to follow, but LinkedIn is more preferable. Great. I'm done from my side, Principal Ma'am, and thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Tasleem. Thank you, Eman. Thank you, Naz. Thank you, Sashmita. Thank you, Sashmita. You were very contributive during the process. Yes, ma'am. Samreen, ma'am, if you want to take it ahead. Samreen, ma'am, if you want to take it ahead. Thank you, Arzu. Thank you, Tasin. Ma'am, if you want to take it ahead.
Okay, Khushi, thank you so much for such an interactive session. Observing the chat box, the participants are really very active, and I'm thanking you on behalf of our principal madam also. Actually, she's a little bit busy in a meeting, so that is why I'm on ending this session on behalf of her. Thanks a lot, Khushi, and hoping for a few more webinars like this with you. And you have really truly inspired our female participants over here. And I think as I have gone through the chat box, I think there's not only young females, we have all age group participants in the webinar right now, I guess. So thank you so much, Khushi. Okay, have a good day, everybody. Thanks for participating in the event, and have a very good afternoon, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you guys.
Bye, Khushi. Bye.